All right, so A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2 was some of the best movie experiences I've ever had in the theater. Director and writer John Krasinski knocked them out of the park. I love those movies. But now we have Part 3, Day One, which is a prequel starring Miss Lupita Nyong'o. I am a big fan of her work. Is this film as great as the first two? Let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my A Quiet Place Day One movie review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys, like I said, I was really looking forward to A Quiet Place Day One, not just because I love the first two, but like I said in my intro, I'm a fan of Lupita Nyong'o. And the only thing that was missing from the first two films is I was wondering, how did everything start off? So I thought this was the perfect film to wrap things up or to show the beginning. I really wanted to see how these aliens touched down on Earth and just wreck shop, killing everybody, with the human beings not knowing that silence was the key to survival. Now, this is being directed by Mr. Michael Sarnowski. I have not heard of this man before this film, but if we scroll down and look at his filmography, he did direct Pig, which came out in 2021. And to let you know, guys, this gentleman is an indie director, an independent director directing small films. And so that is majority of his filmography right here. Also, Olympia, which was a TV series, a short called That, and Fight Night Legacy. I have not seen any of these, but if you have and you are a fan of this gentleman, please let me know down in the comment section below. But like I said, guys, I was really looking forward to this film. If I probably made a top 10 most anticipated or top 20 of 2024, this will probably be on the list. It's not going to be up there with Deadpool and Wolverine, but I can honestly say that it would have been on the latter half of my top 10, maybe top 15 or something like that in there. But I was really looking forward to this film when I heard about it, especially when I first saw the trailer, and again with this starring Miss Lupita Nyong'o. But before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film is all about. A woman named Sam finds herself trapped in New York City during the early stages of an invasion by alien creatures with ultrasonic hearing. You know, it's funny, I read the synopsis on IMDb and I scrolled down and saw the title of someone else's review, and I agree wholeheartedly. I didn't read the review. If I remember, I'll say what they said in the title, but I do agree with what they said here. All right, guys, but the first thing that I did like about this film, A Quiet Place Day One, is Lupita Nyong'o. She is a great character. I like her sense of humor, especially with it being dry. If you are that type of person, you will get along with her great. And I also really do like the relationship that she had with the cat in this film, her service animal. I was kind of saying to myself and scratching my head, man, this cat is really quiet throughout the whole movie, but cats do sneak around. They are kind of ninjas, but one thing that I did find interesting was there was no meowing at all throughout this film. I don't know, I guess they just had the juice or something like that, but I did like her and the relationship with her cat. And just dealing with her character, don't want to spoil anything, but she just wasn't really dealt the best cards as far as her health is concerned, but I like the way that she still handled and went through her life throughout every day. She wasn't really feeling sorry for herself and was always trying to make the best of it, even if it was just going across town to get a certain piece of food. She was always into the little things that was going to make her happy, which was going to help her stay fulfilled, and we're just going to keep trucking along. I also liked her character is, as human beings, we all like that human interaction with other people. And she did appreciate that too, but it wasn't necessary for her to cope. She could be around a group of people and get along great, or she could be perfectly fine just wandering around the earth by herself. The way that she was able to go back and forth and just people like that in general, I do respect and I like that about her character. And so, of course, I got to give 2 thumbs up right there. And her character's name is Sam, or Samara, in this film. And she does have a decent to great relationship with her father, and I like the way that that was displayed too. Now, her co-star in this film is by the name of Eric, played by Joseph Quinn. I've never heard of him before. If you are a fan of his work, again, please let me know down in the comment section below. But he is the exact opposite of Sam. He cannot go wandering through the earth by himself. He definitely does need that human connection, that human interaction. And I'm not knocking him for that. He's just a complete polar opposite 180 of Sam. So to put those 2 together in this film, I did like that. Great parallel. 2 completely different people that are able to get along and trying to survive through all this mayhem. It was pretty entertaining, and the film did spend a lot of time trying to develop their character and just kind of let you know what makes them tick and talk as they're trying to survive in New York City. Also, guys, the next thing that I really liked about this film is it is different from parts 1 and 2. Those were focused on a small family in a rural area, and that makes perfect sense. There's not supposed to be a number of people around because it's in the middle of nowhere. It's not in the city, unlike this in New York City in this film. New York City is one of the busiest cities in the United States. I don't know about the world, but it's up there. You have people everywhere. There's buildings. There's all types of technology around every nook and cranny, every nook and corner, to make noise, to get the aliens to try to find you and kill you. And so I like that that was the exact opposite of what we got in the first 2 films. Whether it was executed or not the way it should have been is a different story, and we'll get to that later. But I did like that it was like, hey, the first 2 films was in the middle of nowhere. Now we're going to be in the Big Apple, New York City, where there's millions of people everywhere. This should be entertaining. And another great thing about this film was I like seeing all of the people together, trying to survive, trying to maneuver around in big crowds, moving through the New York City streets like a herd of cattle. I mean, it's hundreds, thousands, and millions of people moving together. Everybody's on code. Everybody's trying to be quiet for the most part. And that's just different from what we got before. So I did like that. If one person makes a mistake by coughing, sneezing, trying to clear their throat, or tripping over a rock, these aliens with this supersonic hearing is going to jump on that and wreck shop, like I said, just destroying everybody. And of course, if we're humans, we're going to get scared. We're going to react and gasp for air or scream and just panic. Everybody is not built the same and not built for this type of survival. So you know it's going to be a bloody mess. And we did get that, and that was quite entertaining. But to be honest with you guys, I have to press pause right there on all the things that I liked about this movie and now transition to some things that I did not like, or the film just didn't reach its full potential. And I'll just go ahead and say right now, guys, this part 3, this A Quiet Place Day 1 is my least favorite out of the franchise. And it's very, very upsetting to me. I was very disappointed. I feel like this film was a huge letdown. Now, it's not garbage. It's not trash. It's not one of the worst in 2024 by a long shot. But there were a number of moments in this film that I did get bored. And I was sighing like, okay, man, this movie is only 1 hour and 40 minutes, but it seems much longer. Or I don't want to just say that it seemed long, but there was just so much happening in this film that I did not want to see. One being the character development in this film. And I have no problem with that. But when you have a movie like this and the way that it was marketed, I don't want to see, I guess, somewhat pointless character development if you're going to substitute that for the action, for the chaos, for the mayhem, from all of the aliens killing humans in New York City. Now, did we get to see that? Yes, we did. But it was far too brief. And that was, again, a huge, huge letdown. One of the disappointing things about this film is, while the first 2 films focus on a small family, this focused on a small group of people as well, with Lupita Nyong'o's character Sam and also Joseph Quinn's character Eric. This film should have focused on a larger group of people. Now, I know earlier I said that they did showcase large people moving through the New York City streets as a herd. Yes, and that was great, but that was far too brief. The film should have focused on that more and more, but it was just randomly sprinkled here and out, and that's what I wanted to see. Just like the first two films is focused on small groups of people, this one did too. So it's essentially the same as we got before, but in New York City, and what makes that disappointing is it's a waste. It makes sense in the first two, like I said, because it's in the middle of nowhere. But you have millions of people in New York, but you only want to focus on two people. No. That was a big mistake. Another thing that I don't like about this movie is I feel like it was mismarketed. This movie is called A Quiet Place Day 1, but it should have been called A Quiet Place Week 1 and or Week 1 and 2, because we really don't get to see what happens in day 1. We get maybe no more than 5 minutes, but then there is a small time jump forward. And when that comes back from the time jump, I'm like, wait a minute. The film literally skipped over everything that you wanted to see. We get to see, of course, and this is in the trailers, the aliens falling from the sky and landing on Earth initially. And no, it's not organized. I do like the perspective that we got, and I don't want to say what exactly his perspective that is. But the aliens are killing people, and you really can't see that much because there's a lot of dust, there's a lot of debris, and there's a lot of killing off screen that you can hear. But one character gets injured, and when that character comes to, it's the time jump, and we missed everything that's in the trailers. I'm like, wait a minute. Why did we not see this? Why did you not show us this? This is exactly what I came to the movies to see, these particular scenes, and you took that away. These scenes that they skipped over should literally have been at least half of the movie, if not an hour, and that would have been so satisfying. But again, it was no more than 5 minutes. How did the human beings react to the aliens landing on Earth? Did they try to fight back? Did they try to run? Did they try to rally together and come up with some plan, and we, the audience members, see that it failed? Was there dialogue between the humans? Like, where did they come from? What do they want? How do we kill them? What works? What doesn't work? How did the military react to this? Did they know that this alien invasion was coming beforehand? Did they communicate with the people effectively? Did they try to help the human civilization out? Or were they really selfish and only tried to save themselves or the rich people? What did their guns do? Did it work? Did it not work? Did we see the Army or Marines letting off their AR-15s, assault rifles, pistols, grenade launchers, flamethrowers, bombs, rockets, missiles? Did we get to see any of that? If it did work against the aliens, or did it fail? Were the humans being smart and like try to attack them and realize, okay, hey, if we continue on a charge and try to kill the aliens, it's not going to work and we're going to die? Or were they stupid and made illogical decisions? None of this is answered or addressed. How did the humans find out? Maybe that they can't swim or they're afraid of water. How did the human beings find out? And we know this happened, this is not a spoiler, that the aliens can only see sound and react to it. Again, we didn't see any of that. The film skipped over all of that and just went to everybody being quiet. And I'm like, okay, what the hell? The main thing that I wanted to see in this movie, y'all didn't put in it. Y'all put it in the trailers. Y'all tricked us. You let us on, but it's not in the movie. And that really did piss me off. And another thing that just pissed me off beyond anything is the fact that you're writing characters that feel the need to sacrifice their lives for other people that they do not know. I do not ever want to see that again in any film, television show, or whatever. I'm sick of it. I feel like this is at the very least insensitive, but at the very most evil. This action, this notion has been implanted subconsciously in the minds of certain group of people around this earth. And I think it's extremely toxic, and I don't like it at all. Yeah, you tried to write the character that way, but you didn't have to write the character that way. You're a writer. You could have wrote certain characters any way you wanted, but you wanted to make, oh, I got to sacrifice myself for people like this. And I just think it's a big pile of crap. Not the entire film, but just that aspect. And I'm upset about it, if you couldn't tell. Guys, the level of suspense was not the same as the first two films. There was a lack of action, given that this is set up in New York City. I mean, we should have saw these aliens going crazy everybody just screaming at the top of their lungs. Aliens fighting humans, humans fighting aliens, the Army, the Marines, the Navy, all of them should have been all over this movie, but we only got like 5-6 minutes of it. And that's just ridiculous to me. Ridiculous. Now, again, this film is not horrible. It's not trash or anything like that. It was slightly entertaining. And I'll go ahead and read you guys what this review said, just the title of it, which I do agree with. It says, decent, not groundbreaking, but entertaining. And I do agree with that. I'm not going to read the rest of it because that's what that person wanted to write, and I don't want that to come on my review subconsciously as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a decent film. It's not groundbreaking. It's entertaining. It is my least favorite out of the franchise. It would have benefited this franchise or this movie if Day One would have came out first. And then we got the John Krasinski films that was written and directed by him. John Krasinski, he was only here in the writing department. He did not direct this film, and it shows. It shows. Lupita did a great job in this film. The other gentleman did too, but it was just okay. And just a missed opportunity. We should have seen, like I said for the third time, just a war basically within the first 30 to 45 minutes. But we only got like less than 5 minutes of that, and that just sucks. And it's just a repeat of films 1 and 2, but in New York, which is a waste of time and city, and so yeah, it's a miss for me. It's a miss for me. I will go ahead and give my rating for this at the very end, guys. But for now, that is just my opinion, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this movie, if you did enjoy this review, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section below. Subscribe and share the video. But guys, if I had to rate A Quiet Place Day One out of a 1 out of 10, I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Yes, a 6.5 out of 10. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.